Hey guys, check out Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0, brought to you by Mama Jumbo Shrimp, a fully updated second edition, reviewed and revised by an expert panel of certified Italian wine ambassadors from across the globe. The book also includes an edition by Professore Attilio Scienza, Italy's leading vine geneticist. To pick up a copy today, just head to Amazon.com or visit us at MamaJumboShrimp.com.
Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. I'm Cynthia Chaplin, and this is Voices. Every Wednesday, I will be sharing conversations with international wine industry professionals, discussing issues in diversity, equity, and inclusion through their personal experiences working in the field of wine. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and rate our show wherever you get your pods.
Hello and welcome to Voices. This is Cynthia Chaplin, and today I have Markus Patz with me, all the way from Australia. Markus was a recent Vinitaly International Academy Italian wine ambassador student at the VIA course held in Verona just before Vinitaly a couple of weeks ago. And Markus, many congratulations. You passed the rigorous exam. So it's very exciting to have you here with us while your pin is still shiny and new. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me. And I'm surely a proud Vinitaly Italian wine ambassador now.
I'm very pleased to have you on board. So a little about you. I know you were born in Germany, but you've lived in Australia for quite a long time, and you are a WSET educator, and you've been a wine merchant and a brand ambassador, so very experienced in the field of wine. So I'm wondering what made you decide to do the VIA Italian Wine Ambassador course?
Well, Cynthia, I think there are almost three categories of reasons for doing it. There is a personal reason, obviously, and that's my love affair with Italy. So as long as I can think, I just love Italy, Italian culture, Italian food. I love cooking myself, and I have lots of Italian friends here in Australia as well. Let's say with lots of them with Italian heritage, but I'm always drawn to Italy. I'm kind of surprised that I chose Australia over Italy to migrate. And the other one is I never stop learning. It's one of my personal philosophies. As much as I can soak in, I do. The more interesting part is the second category, and that's the professional reasons. And that's work related to what I do, because I see lots of changes happening in the Australian landscape for the wine consumer. And there is a growing demand for Italian wines here in Australia. And if I go back just 10 years, there wasn't much on the shelves, not much available of Italian wines here in Australia, but that changed. And people start recognizing that there is actually more to Italian wines than just the three killer bees. You know? I mean, obviously we talk about Barolo, Barbarescos, Brunellos, and no offense to Brunello, Barbaresco, and Barolos. But there are other grape varieties with a long aging potential. And I only have to think of Aglianico, Sagrantino, even Galliopo. And not to forget the white varieties like Viano, Greco, for instance. People here in Australia are not yet aware of them. They may have had them because Australians love to travel. And obviously they love to travel to Europe. And when they're in Europe, they get a taste of Italy and other nations, and they love the wines. They come back to Australia, and then they're desperately looking for them, and it's hard for them to find. So we need to promote Italian wines, educate about Italian wines here in Australia, and that was one of the reasons I was doing this course. And it's the change in Australian palates as well. And that's maybe not just happening in Australia, that maybe even in the United States, in Germany, in France, wherever. The trend is going towards, when you know the Australian wine palette, we loved our Shiraz, our Chardonnay, so really the big, full-bodied wines. And the trend is now going to more the lighter style, the more medium-bodied, the even lighter in alcohol style wine. And that's where all these beautiful Italian grape varietals push in. And that's also one of the reasons that lots of Australian winemakers start planting Italian grape varietals.
That's a very good point. There is a lot of Italian native grapes being grown in Australia now.
Absolutely. First of all, in a region of McLaren Vale. But that's exactly the point. There is a development, an evolution going on, and also Australian winemakers, lots of them, by the way, with Italian heritage. So don't forget there were, I don't even know, I think Melbourne is certainly the second largest Greek city outside of Greece. But there is a very high percentage of Italian heritage people. So it's in Sydney. And lots of them have actually imported, as migrants in the 1950s, 1960s, actually cuttings of the grape varieties, brought them into Australia, initially just to have their own little vineyards in their backyards to make their own.
Back in the day when you were allowed to bring plant clippings in your suitcase, which you can't do anymore.
No, unfortunately, well, you could, but it possibly takes 5 to 7 years to get them through customs and migration here. Yeah.
Well, this sounds like you're going to be an ideal Italian wine ambassador for the VIA community because you clearly know your market very well in Australia and you are a good educator. You've already got that background. So it sounds like you know exactly what you're going to do with your new knowledge and new skills and your new title. So I want to ask you how you would recommend VIA to other young people coming into the wine industry in Australia, considering that there's so much interest in Italian wine now in Australia. What would you tell them about VIA? What would you recommend them about VIA?
Well, Cynthia, to be very honest, I had some of the most amazing 4 weeks just behind me. I just came back, just returned on Sunday night, 2 days ago, from my Italian experience. And this trip was just amazing from the first to the last day. And VIA obviously played the most important role. And I'm still in awe. I'm still gobsmacked. I'm still processing all the information I received from you. I mean, I came to Italy thinking I know a lot about Italian wine. I've done my Italian wine scholar, for instance, with the wine scholar guild in Washington. I've done my WSET training. I'm a WSET educator. I have done so many Italian wine master classes here in Australia, delivered them. So I thought I know a fair bit. And I got there and said, it's so true. The more you know, the less you know. And going to Italy, going to do this Italian wine ambassador course was such an amazing experience that whoever I meet, even the last 2 days now here in Australia, I'm raving about it. And I said, if you're really into Italy, if you love Italian wines, the course is very intense and it's not an easy exam, by far not an easy exam.
No, we recognize that, and we actually pride ourselves on the rigor of the course. It's challenging, no doubt about it.
And I talked because funny enough, Australia, compared to other nations, has in ratio to our population one of the highest density of master of wines. And that no master of wine has reached VIA's level of Italian wine expert, which is the next level up from the ambassador. That almost speaks for itself.
That's true. That is true. And I think one of the beautiful things about Italian wine and Italian wine education is you never can know everything, because there are over 500 native grapes in the National Register. They're changing the DOC and DOCG regulations and regional boundaries and guidelines all the time. So there's always something new to learn about Italian wine. You can become an expert, but you'll never know it all.
Exactly. And that's when I actually talked to a master of wine, Australian master of wine, and explained to him what VIA does. He looked at me and I said, that's a master of wine educational level, just in brackets, focus on Italian wine. And I think that brings it to the point. So if you have a dream, if you have a goal to learn, that's actually what VIA promises. And it's so focused on Italian wine that for me, it's very intense. But in those 14 days of the Vinitaly marathon, I stopped counting after tasting 372 wines.
That's great. I think people do, sort of pride themselves on how many wines they can taste. At VIA, during the course, you tasted 151.
Exactly.
So after you left VIA, you clearly went on and tasted 200 more. So Markus, well done. You're still standing. I can't believe it. But I wanted to talk to you because you and I also had a nice experience together on the very first night of the course. Berlucchi, the wonderful company in Franciacorta who actually originated the style of Franciacorta bubbly wine, they became an educational partner for VIA this year. And Cristina Ziliani, the daughter of renowned Franco Ziliani, invited the VIA students for a private, very personal tour and tasting on the very first night of the class. So we overwhelmed you with sort of 8 hours of classroom and tasting and very intense first day. And then we chucked you all onto a bus and drove you out into the Franciacorta countryside, about an hour west of Verona. And we arrived at Berlucchi, and you and I traveled together on our bus. And we arrived at Berlucchi for a very special evening. And I wanted to get your impression of that because it was so unique and the first time we've done it. How was it for you on the first night of your course?
Are you enjoying this podcast? Don't forget to visit our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, for fascinating videos covering Stevie Kim and her travels across Italy and beyond, meeting winemakers, eating local foods, and taking in the scenery. Now, back to the show.
First of all, and that's one of the virtually connection to the previous question, it's the feeling of community that VIA provides and organizes. You have to think about the whole context. I don't know how many people were we, 70 from all over.
No, you were 64 this year. It was our biggest class, 64.
And we're coming from every corner of the world, say that. And that's what I've said, New Zealand, Australia, obviously, but then from Japan, from China, from Taiwan, from Singapore, from Mexico, from Brazil, the United States. So they are, in that way, 64 strangers coming together, people that haven't met each other. And from the very first moment we were entering the room, there was a connection, obviously our love for Italian wines. And to have that opportunity towards the end of the first day to go on a tour together, I hardly ever felt such a connection with, honestly, in that way, strangers, that within 8 hours of a course, sit together supported obviously by Berlucchi and the fabulous Cristina Siliani. Um, we were friends within a day. And
I'm so happy to hear that. That is absolutely what we're driving at. Many people don't pass the exam on the first try, and we don't want them to feel that they are any less of a part of our community. We do try from the beginning to encourage everyone to engage together, do their video projects together, get to know one another. So I'm really delighted. That really pleases me that you felt that worked on the very first day.
yeah, and going to Berlucchi, I mean, it is an experience. I actually, as you know, for the second week, I thought, because my mom, she doesn't live that far away from northern Italy, just on the Austrian-German border. So I thought, you know what, I'm just around the corner. Why don't I pick her up and then bring her down for another week in Verona? Even I'm going to Vinitaly and I'm busy during the day. She can look after herself. But I took her after that experience for a second time for me to Berlucchi a couple of days later. And I didn't tell anyone about it. And Christina was initially a bit, I don't want to say offended, but she said, "Why didn't you tell us?" And I said, "Look, I just wanted to go there and see how you treat visitors in comparison to how you treated us as a professional community." And honestly, there was.
Yeah, you were like one of those secret spy people who go into a shop and see how things work without telling them that you're writing a review.
And honestly, there was not one difference. And it amazed me. And I told Christina when I met her at Opera Wine again, and I said, that was to me the most amazing experience. Um, yes, surely having a very personalized tour for us as candidates for being an Italian wine ambassador. But having the same experience when you go there, you know, as a consumer, as a potential customer, it was just where I said, you know what, Berlucchi is one of those wineries I absolutely adore. And that goes back to the Siliani family. It's just their style. They're such heartfelt, welcoming people, human beings, obviously loving wine and loving people. Yeah. So, and apart from that, I mean, coming back to most important things, the sparkling wines, obviously from Franciacorta, so the method traditionnel. The wines of Berlucchi are absolutely stunning.
Well, I'm so glad that we could introduce you to Berlucchi and to Cristina Ziliani, and I'm delighted that you took your mother back as a secret spy, under the radar private person. That makes me smile. So I just wanted to ask you, now that you've passed the exam, you spent a really good 4 weeks here from the sound of it, and I know we spoke a few times during the course. I know how much you love Italian wine. Now that you're back in Australia, as soon as you get over your jet lag, what are going to be the first steps you take with your newfound Italian wine ambassador title?
Look, there are actually lots of them. One is I'm working for Australia's largest liquor retailer. That's the Endeavour Group. And the Endeavour Group is, as so far as I know, actually the third largest liquor trading business in the world, after Costco in America and Aldi based in Germany. So, but we do focus on the three Bs. And as I said, there's so much more to Italian wine than just that. So my focus is within the business I'm working for, to really promote Italian wines. And I've spoken to so many Italian producers that despite their size and despite Australia being so far away from Italy, that they are more than happy to get in touch with us and start a business relationship with us. So that's strictly from that point. On the other side, as you know, I'm friends with Jill Gordon-Smith, one of the few Italian wine experts. And she was one of the other reasons that I took the course, because she simply told me to do
She's
it.
very persuasive, is our Jill, indeed.
Yes, she is. But apart from that, an absolutely adorable woman. I love her to the bits. And she mentioned to me, yes, you need to do it, but when you do it, it would increase our Australian community of Italian wine ambassadors. And we are now 8. And I think that's already a big number compared to other countries in the world. And I know, personally, funny enough, including myself, I know only 5 of them. So I need to ask you later, checking who are the other ones. But I know Jill Gordon-Smith is one of the only 17 Italian wine experts in the world. Then my dear friend Matt Irwin, who I passed this exam together with just 3 weeks ago. And then Daniel Macella, who is another Italian wine ambassador who just started the Italian Wine Society. So a retailer focused, specialized on Italian wines. And we're getting along very well for many years. So we would love to work together on wine education. And that's where BS Maestro course comes into the game. So that would be one of the aspects to offer a formal qualification to Australians who want to learn more about Italian wines. And funny,
well, you can apply to be a Maestro educator now that you have passed the Italian Wine Ambassador certification. And I will be very, very excited to work with you on that and get some Maestro, which is our introductory Italian wine educational material, get that into Australia, and have you educating and spreading Italian wine joy out there. That will please me no end.
So that's what we're doing. And funny enough, the other one is I just got in touch today with Gambero Rosso, and they're having a Italian wine roadshow on the 15th of May in Sydney. So obviously, as an ambassador who's representing, promoting, building relationships for Italian wine producers, offered my services here to support the event on Monday, the 15th of May.
Well, you'll have to tell me how that goes, because that's going to be a very exciting event in Sydney. And Gambero Rosso obviously is one of our best means of getting information about Italian wine out into the world. So I'm glad you're taking part, and please let us know how it goes.
I shall.
Thank you. Thank you, Markus. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for having me. And good luck. And I'm sure we'll see each other again at the latest next year.
Absolutely. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, Marco.
Ciao, Bella.
Thank you for listening, and remember to tune in next Wednesday when I'll be chatting with another fascinating guest. Italian Wine Podcast is among the leading wine podcasts in the world, and the only one with a daily show. Tune in every day and discover all our different shows. You can find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com, SoundCloud, Spotify, Himalaya, or wherever you get your pods.